Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
which it stands
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all.
So we will. Do we want to do introduction?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Casey, you want to start? We might as well start with you.
Okay, I'm Casey. I'm the admin assistant.
I'm Bill, board member.
I'm Mike King. Oh,
Sorry.
I may be appointed number one.
Oh my God, Mary Farrell, I'm not sure what I am.
John Nichols.
I'm Mandy, I'm the vice chair. Lisa Angerson, superintendent TI.
Dave Snow, I'm one of the board members as well.
And then online, who do we have? Jim, we'll start with you. We got you at the left.
Yep, Jim McQueenie, board member. Lived down the street, South Point Street, seasonal resident, 40 years.
Jay,
Jay Grasso, G&G Municipal Consulting and Grant Writing.
Nicola,
Nicola with G&G Municipal Consulting and Grant Writing.
Dan,
Pam Young's Village Liaison from the Village Board.
Kathy,
Kathy Karenko, soon to be treasurer.
and Lori.
Lori Moss, Chamber Liaison.
Thank you. All right, so we will dive into our resolutions. So we can have a full sort. Right, so I have.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry. So the liaisons, are they voting members?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Any other questions?
No thing.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
this is all.
There will be.
Ask the question. Yeah, please jump in if there's any questions.
I do have one question before we start, just because, so when we get to the resolution, I'll know what to write. The capitalization policy, do you know what I'm referring to?
Yeah, we have a capitalization policy.
Yeah, where did that come from in the sense of it, is it the standard one that the New York State prescribes?
It is a standard one that other agencies within the state use. We don't have anything to capitalize, so we just borrow that.
Yeah, I was more concerned about, I've never seen a capitalization policy like this before. I usually thought that, how things were capitalized and what was capitalized and how was it depreciated was, that was what the taxing authorities told us it was how it was supposed to be done. And I just didn't know if this was a standard or if it was something that we needed to run by our accountants. That's the only reason I'm asking.
When did we do that?
It was last year when we were told we had to have the 7 different policies. So
Right.
we just used.
So
the generic ones
Bowers recommended that we have that.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. That's what I needed to know.
Yep.
Any other questions with any of the resolutions while we're talking about those? You can run through them, but- All right, we will start out with resolution 2026-0101, and this is appointing new board members. And this one is appointing Mike Kinney for the town appointment until December 2028. Any discussion? Okay.
Let's vote.
Let's vote. Mayor, I'm just gonna go down through. You can say yay or nay or abstain or if you're absent. Mary?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yay.
Mandy? Yes. Bill?
Yep.
Jim?
Yep.
Dave?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
My legal name's Michael. I don't know if that matters.
Oh, it is Michael on here. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay,
Do you go, would you prefer
Well,
Michael or Mike?
No, Mike's fine, but Mike, for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next one, we have 2026-0102. Another appointment for board member is John Nichols for a town appointment until December 2028. Any discussion? All right, we'll go down through again. Mary?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Michael?
Yeah.
You get to vote now.
Oh, I get to vote.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mandy, yes. Bill,
Yes.
Jim,
Yep.
Dave, Pam.
Yes.
You went first.
Oh, no more resting now. You're on the rest of them.
And we just did it alphabetically.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, the next one is a resolution 2026-0103 and board members. Okay, so this one is changing up some of the roles, no, the appointments. So we have Mary is now the town liaison. Kathy is appointed as town until December 27. Michael, you're just said, but you're appointed until December 28 in your town appointment. I'm a village appointment until December 28. Bill, you are a village appointment until December 27. Jim, you are a village appointment until December 26. John, you're a town appointment until December 28. Dave, you are a town appointment until December 26. And Pam is a village liaison. Question?
Which could, I mean, I know there's a town and a village, but what does that mean, a town appointment, a village appointment?
So,
Does the board, town board actually appoint us or the
Yeah.
village board?
yeah, so when we recruit and have new members, Mary can probably talk a little bit more, but we kind of do our thing here and then the town or village board, depending on who's appointing you, approves it.
Okay, got it.
And it's a 60-40 split.
Yep.
So that's the way the financials are. So the town
60 from the
60%
town,
and 40
village.
from.
Got it, thank
And
you.
each have one liaison.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so Mary,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
yes, Bill,
Yes.
Jim,
Yep.
John,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Pam.
Yes.
All right, we have resolution 2026-0104, and this is appointing the officers. So the officers that we are recommending to the board are as follows. Bill McDonough as chair, myself as vice chair, Kathy as treasurer, and Dave as secretary. Any questions or conversation?
Be very careful before you vote.
All right, Mary,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
I'm a yes, especially since Bill is the chair.
Yes.
Jim,
Yep.
John,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
and Pam.
Yes.
All right.
Now
Oh,
you can-
now I get to hand it over
You
to
wanna
Bill.
play?
Bill,
I got-
okay, now do it.
I've got
He's got
one.
copies too.
I'll just give these so I don't lose them. You know, it's a
Okay.
long place.
I did a lot of
I don't want the
printing.
responsibility, Casey.
Okay.
All right, so the next resolution is 26-0105, and this is for amending the governance committee charter. For those of you who remember, basically, we added some cleaned up language within that. And we also added some policies that we have done over the year, like 5 or 6 policies. So those were really the changes. So with that, we'll go down to the vote. So Mary,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mike,
I'm gonna abstain because I have no idea yet what.
got it. Makes sense. Mandy,
Yes.
myself, yes. Jim,
Yep.
okay, John,
I abstain for the same reason as it can still carry.
perfect. The Dave,
Yes.
and then Pam.
Yes.
Makes sense. All right. So approved. All right, next one's 26-0106. This is we changed the procurement lobbying policy because at the time we ran into an issue and realized we probably didn't have enough people to approve certain things. So we removed the executive director since we haven't had one. And then we added the chair and the vice chair in addition to the treasurer and other designated official. And that's what the change was, as a reminder. So with that, we'll go down to the vote. Mary,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Michael,
I'm gonna abstain again.
you got it. Mandy?
Yep.
Myself, yes. Jim,
Yep.
Okay, John, abstain?
Yep.
Dave?
Yes.
All right, and Pam?
Yes.
So passed. All right, 260107. This is the one confirming the bylaws. As a reminder, this is one where we added kind of the voting, whether we do roll call or yays, nays, and we put that language in there probably 4 or 5 months ago. So with that, well, Mary,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Michael,
Abstain.
all right. The Mandy?
Yep.
Yourself, yes. Jim?
Yep.
John? All right. Dave?
Yes.
And Pam?
Yes.
All right. And this should be the last one. So this is the large catch-all 0108. And this is one basically that lists out all the policies we have with the current date. If you've read this, you'll see the 3 items we just voted on with today's date, and then all the, I guess, the current dates of all the other policy letters. It lists out the finance and audit and governance committees, which we decided actually the previous meeting. And with that, we'll go down and vote. So Mary,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Michael,
Abstain.
okay, Mandy,
Yes.
so yes, Jim,
Yep.
John, okay, Dave,
Yeah.
and Pam.
Yes.
And that is it for the resolution.
So getting myself in trouble right away. The document that you just talked about, so did that get sent by email? Recently?
It probably got sent.
It's posted. These are posted, right, the resolutions?
Yeah, they're in the for review file in the Google Drive. I did send out a link to both of those files for the resolutions and for the
Okay.
policies, just so everybody
So you
could
can
click
look
on them and look at
That
them
would
before the
probably be
meeting.
helpful.
I did that the other night.
Yeah, we got it.
Oh, you did do
Yeah.
that the other night?
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys, either of you guys have trouble getting into the Google Drive, let me know, but I think you should with your onboarding documents, you're
Yeah.
getting in there, so it's just a matter of, that core review file is where most of the stuff goes that we're gonna talk about in the meeting.
Yeah, and then once we approve it, then we drop into other things in there. We've reorganized it recently, and hopefully it's semi-intuitive, but unless you get in there and kind of poke around and play, it won't be, you kind of say, okay, these are filed here, these are filed here, that
Sounds like that's an important one to really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just found it.
All right, for those of you, Casey sent out the draft minutes, people kind of updated and everything like that, so any questions or comments before we move to approve or disapprove those minutes? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, everybody?
Yep.
Aye?
Yeah.
Yep.
I,
Nate? All
Aye.
right. All right. So, over to the grant planner update to either Jay or Nicola or both.
It'll be both of us, but I'll start the ball rolling. Good evening, everyone, and congratulations on new appointments and fun responsibilities. It's only a meeting or two a month, I'm sure. A lot of work. I remember. We're kind of mixing things. We're changing things up a little bit. Had a meeting with Mary and Bill yesterday, sort of your outgoing and your incoming, and looking to change something up. I got an email out to you all, but it got out kind of late. And it's going to be a little bit of a new process that we talked about. We will have some pre-reads on the grants. That way you're not coming in blind and listening to me just blather at you about the potential for new grants that are out there. The sheet we have is kind of it's the initial sheet. It's something I put together today. We'll probably make some changes to it depending on what the board would like. But the essence of the sheet is the name of the grant, the description, the link to it online, cost, match, and more importantly, the things we will need from either your body or the village and the town, and the putting of hard deadlines in to make sure that we don't miss something as we're moving forward. I think it'll be just a little more efficient way of moving forward. And after talking to Mary yesterday, she was kind enough to create a G&G folder in the Google Drive. So I started uploading some things into there, which all those pre-reads will be in there. We'll have the most updated version of the grant sheet. I think in the meeting last month, you wanted the tag grant uploaded. That's in there. We also have a draft of the milestones. I was doing it a little differently. It was an Excel sheet, and then after talking with Mary, we changed it a little bit to kind of mirror what's in our contract. And that milestone sheet is something that's in there. It's a draft, and it talks about all the different things we'll be doing moving forward into the new year. I did place an agenda. In the future, I think I'm going to do the agenda a little differently. It'll be a document, and instead of just in the email, but this was a little rushed. So I wanted to talk to you about some of those things, and Nicola will jump in, and some of it goes back to the meeting I want to touch on from last month. And I know that you have a big agenda, so I'll do my best to move quickly, and I apologize in advance for talking a lot. Number one on our agenda was the pro-housing update. As you recall from the last meeting, we were able to submit the tag application, the technical assistance grant for housing, but both the village and the town are not yet. They haven't completed their pro-housing certification through the state. There was some miscommunication on that, but Nicola did a nice job and actually submitted the letter of intent, which is part of the process on behalf of the village. And later in the month of December, just before the holiday or a couple of days before the holiday, we were able to track down where the town stood. And the town had actually passed a resolution in March. And now we'll get with the town and make sure that resolution gets forwarded to the state. And then there's a process where they'll have to upload building permits and such. And I think the town is more than capable of doing it. If they need help, we will do that for them. We're more than happy to do that for them. And then the village, Nicole, if you want to touch on, the next steps for that of where we go.
So before it used to be where we just emailed them the letter of interest and then they would send us a procurement login. This time they came back and what they'd really like is a letter attached signed by the mayor and the supervisor. So I'll be sending that out actually tomorrow for that signature so that we can send it back to the state. Once they receive that, then there'll be a login for the Procorum, which is where then we will upload the resolution from the town. I have not seen anything from the village, so if they need that resolution again, I'm happy to send that to them. And then from there, we can work both with the village and the town on the spreadsheets that are needed to get those done, to get your pro-housing certification.
Would you mind sending that again, Nicola? I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I have it. The resolution. You can forward it directly to Mary Rupp and copy me or whatever's easier.
Okay, is she have that email? Do we have her email?
She's at the mayor address.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then our board did have some questions about restrictions on things. And we were talking about maybe having Jay, if you're up at the end of the month, talking to our board. So I think we can still go ahead and get this letter going and then get our questions answered from Jay, because then there's still the process of applying, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of things that need to be uploaded. I think the village is capable of doing it, but if you're not, we're certainly happy to help with that process.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Okay.
It looks intimidating, but it's not as bad as you think it would be. So, but if I'm going to be up there, might as well.
And the questions that we were having, some board members were, if we receive a grant and it goes against some long-standing thing for wind, for example, because I know there's a lot of energy requirements. We just need to get a better understanding of that. And that can go happen at the end of the month, I think.
Yeah, so the pro-housing doesn't have anything to do with that, Pam, just so you know. That pro-housing certification has nothing to do with any of your solar, wind, regulations or anything. This is just saying that you are going to be open to people building houses and filling vacancies. That's it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and unfortunately, the state rolled this out very, very poorly. And there's so many rumors and so much
Oh.
craziness, and it's bad. And
Maybe I'm
that's
confusing
unfortunate.
it with the other grant too, so.
It's okay.
Yes.
That's all right. We got
Yeah.
you.
Never mind.
So I will move along then. On the milestone draft that you would have received in your packet, it's also in the your I'm losing your Google Drive. Had a second there. We use so many different ones. Like I said, it's just a draft. But it talks about these are points that Mary was very specific of wanting us to talk about, and they relate to things that we've done and things that we haven't done. And I guess I need to to confirm, and I'll have this conversation. We don't need to do it now. I can do it offline with the new president of us coming up and holding office hours, the ability to meet with the businesses, and for those that we can't, to either Zoom or I can go meet with them in person if they can't leave their business. These are mostly for the newer businesses. We would like to, that's included in the milestones. Also would be meetings with the Industrial Development Agency, the planning department, your different electeds. We've done some outreach to that already. The debate is trying to get them all to come to us at once, or myself and Bill doing a little road trip for the day. Pretty much everybody we talk to is certainly agreeable. We of course want to bring to them a plan of what the goals are for the year. So we will have to make sure we're all on the same page before those meetings happen. The milestone talks about the changes we made in how you'll get the pre-reads. Because I was under the impression that I gave you a grant idea, you guys then talked about it afterwards, but sometimes we're missing information, and sometimes it's tough to get things to either village or town board for authorization. So that's why we're going to be putting those those deadlines into that, so we don't miss anything. And there's a maintained document we updated it today, and that's within that G&G folder. And it shows everything you've worked on over the past few years, everything we've got going on, and what their status is, including dates when things are due and dollar amounts and things like that. That's all in there. So that should be a lot more organized moving forward. Down my list at number 3, I had the local government efficiency grant. And with the local government efficiency grant, we had talked about it in the last meeting, but it hadn't opened yet. Well, between that meeting and this meeting, it did indeed open. And we had talked about the idea of, and this is why we put this sheet together. It was a talk about, fiber optic was a conversation, but also the ferry port. So this one is the most pressing, and that's why I put it first of anything that I wanted to discuss with you today, because the deadline is February 4th. Now, it's not the hardest grant in the world, so we'll be fine. But we need to determine, we had talked about both options last time, and I'm going to need, it doesn't require a resolution, but we can do one from the board. So we'll take care of that and square that away of how we take care of that tonight. But certainly we need support letters. But if there is a fiber optic plan, I need a budget. I need information from who we're working with. Remember, the local government efficiency grant is 2 or more municipalities working together to save taxpayer money. And that particular grant, we've had some success with in the last 3 years, but I guess I need a determination from this body quickly. Is it fiber optic, or is it work for the port? I know a lot of things have been going on, with the ferry in the last month or so. There's been a lot. So I guess I'll kick that over to you guys quickly now and thoughts on that. If we do fiber optic, do we have a partner? I believe it was the school, according to my notes. Or, you know, the port is pretty easy because that's a pretty easy combination between village and town.
So Jay, so just a question, I didn't get a chance to look at this since I was right up against this meeting with.
Right, I get it.
First of all, so I'm looking at the document for this particular grant. A thing you should add to these forms is who can apply for it. So this doesn't tell me if the LDC can do this, if this has to be the town, the village. We need to know that on the form.
That's a perfect, then that's why if anybody else has suggestions to that, this was put together from a similar form that we use for something else, a different type of organization. So yes, if you have suggestions to add to that, I am all ears.
Okay, so that's more of a generic comment. My comment specific to this is it the LDC, the town, or the village? That would have to be the group.
There's certainly the town and the village would have to be involved, but the LDC probably could be a member if they're going to benefit from the project. Nicole, if you've got a thought on that.
Yeah, so I know, and Pam weigh in here, I know both the village and the town have been talking about the importance of getting a joint LWRP, which we currently do not have. They, you know, the villages is old, the towns is new, or could this be used to pay a consultant to create a joint LWRP as opposed to the two organizations continuing to go forward as two separate entities? And
so there is a planning aspect to this. So probably the planning dollars are less. What I can do is make a call tomorrow to the Department of State and verify that it fits, and then I'll put an email out to the body and let you know. Not opposed to an LWRP for LGE. I know it's something that, you know, obviously the town already has theirs. I know also, just to let you know, come CFA time, the consolidated funding application window that'll open in the spring, the big grant window, we can apply for a planning grant to modify or upgrade an LWRP. And we just wrote one for a town to do a modification to an LWRP. So then Nicole,
Could that be used for a comprehensive plan? The CFA?
I don't think so for an overall comp plan, because you're only looking at, I think it's a smaller dollar amount on the I think it's only like 25,000 for the planning, and there's no way anybody's going to do a comp plan for 25 grand.
Jay, just one thing, the town does not have a LWRP. We went through a several year process to come up with a joint plan.
I thought you did.
The village has not signed off on it because of issues with the map within the program. We to re-engage.
All right.
And there was the state effort to assist us through the CFA, help us get ready for that, but we would still need you or someone.
That is definitely a CFA application, not an LGE. That is the thing we've written successfully. That, you know, our staff has experience with. So I'm going to do a new sheet for the LWRP. And I know, Mary, you had mentioned the LWRP, and I'm glad we're talking about it now. I don't think that's going to, you know, necessarily then, at roughly 20 grand.
The only reason I bring that up, and this is for the board, I mean, we don't have any engineering or vendor stuff on fiber optics that we would have by the end of the month.
Yeah, we can put that. I was under the impression that there was something from some entity. If there isn't, then certainly we wouldn't have enough time, and it'd be a weak application. I do know that there's some things associated with, you know, your ferry location. I know that exists. But I'm not necessarily, opposed to other options. All LGE is some shared, they used to call it shared service, but it's something shared between municipal entities that then saves the taxpayer money. It's something you were going to purchase, but doing it together saves money. And we've done this for everything from police departments, not that would fit here, but we did one, and I think I said this in the last meeting. It was a bunch of towns and villages, and we got billing procurement software.
So is this a new requirement this year that we had to have all this stuff? Because we've been talking about this for 3 months now. And today we find out that we have to have this within the next couple of weeks in order to put a realistic application together.
No, you don't need, they're not looking for the Magna Carta here. They're looking for a basic project description and a budget.
Okay.
Don't be intimidated by this.
So
they're not looking for that. Go ahead.
So if we get a estimate from Slick Fiber about how much they would charge us to run a line from the TI high school to Vashon, that's all they're looking for?
That's it. We don't need it. This is not, now when it goes, if we're awarded and it goes to bid, they're going to want some very specific information, but this application does not require overly specific. When I did the one for the procurement software, we had a cost from a vendor. We had a description of the software. We had a description of its 3 out years of service and a cost. That's all I had. And we were able to submit that and show that it saved municipalities money. That's it. They don't get too into the weeds on it. We don't need anything crazy. That hasn't changed.
Well, let's talk about it. Dave, I know you feel like we should maybe try this.
We need it.
I know we need it.
It's just a question of, let's say Slick, okay, we write to them, and then could they turn even just kind of a very broad estimate to go and get to us to meet this packet by 4 February? I don't know. Now, but it's worth a try, but we probably should have number 2. So Dave writes to him. So we leave this meeting because we're not going to go ahead and be able to come back unless we do a special meeting or whatever like that. Is basically we vote, so yes, we want to pursue A, and if Slick can go ahead and get us an estimate by whatever, great. If they can't, what's number 2 we want to do? And it's probably the LWRP.
Well, it sounds like he doesn't think LWRP is the right thing for this.
I think the CFA is a better fit.
Yeah. Pam, is there, I mean, you know the most about the ferry. I couldn't think of anything last night.
Who could we partner with? I can't think of, Wolf Island Municipality, but that's Canadian. That won't work.
That won't work.
I know
So-
there's, I don't know that the town, right, you guys own, the village owns the ferry dock. So anything to upgrade that ferry dock, right, which you guys now own, I don't know how we could color that to look like the town was.
Well, the only
gonna
other
save
municipal agency we could possibly team with is Customs and Border Protection, because they own they run the building, and we could do improvements in the actual building for them if they wanted to partner with.
Well, Clayton isn't a potential.
Not for the ferry dock.
Not for a ferry.
It's an economic development.
Jay, if I heard you correctly, okay, clearly you're targeting the town and the village as the partners because that's what we have for municipalities.
It's the most likely route to success.
But did I also hear you say the LDC could be a partner?
We're going to verify that as well. Shouldn't be an issue. I mean, but the only thing is you're not a taxing entity, but you are an entity. So I need to ask DOS.
Well, the reason I ask is because we're trying to go ahead and figure out how the town could be a credible partner for the ferry, which clearly it's sitting in the village. However,
It's tough.
However, the LDC is a partner in the sense of the ferry because it is one of our chartered things for economic development. So we're not a taxing entity. We don't get revenue for it, but we are an interested party in making sure it gets there so we have a ferry again, if that makes sense.
You're right. The only way we could justify it with the town that I could think of is as an economic engine and a benefit to tourism and anybody. I mean, the jobs thing is probably pretty light. It's mostly tourism. That's the only way, in my mind. If somebody has anything different, I'm open to it. But my thought is certainly as an economic engine for tourism for the town. That would be my justification in a narrative for it.
Yeah, but I guess the other thing where we're gonna get kind of stuck, and Pam, I'm looking at you, is we don't have any kind of drawings on how we want to upgrade this ferry dock, right? I mean, we don't.
We did have some very preliminary drawings.
I've seen those.
For New York Forward. I don't know if they would work.
It would be enough. Once again, this is very general. It's a basic rendering and a cost. I'd have to look at the cost, and we'll talk to an engineer to make sure they're good. Nicola, did you have something on that or no?
Well, I was gonna say that it would be a benefit to the town. So basically, it's a benefit to the residents and the village. So not only does it draw tourism, but it's a benefit to draw that tourism into both communities, helping to drive sales tax.
And with the grant match at 10%, would both entities have to up 10% or just the?
5 and 5 or whatever agreement you come to. And in-kind can be utilized for this. So if you use like the DPW or the highway department or something like that to haul stone or something, you can use that. So I can ask DOS, I just put a note to myself to contact my person at DOS tomorrow, and I can ask the two questions. One is the LWRP issue, and one is the if the LDC could be a partner in this as a separate entity. So I can ask that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd much rather have the town and the village. I was only asking if whatever.
No, it's a great question.
But I'd much rather have the town and village as municipalities.
Okay.
I'm looking, but the thing is, I'm looking at this date,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So that's a great question.
Right.
Right, so, I'll have a town board meeting next week. I could take this forward. I would tell you that my conversations with the new supervisor was the town doesn't want any more grants right now. They are over their over their ski tips with Water District 7, Club Street. And there's a few other things. So even, I don't know that I could get to 5% of whatever this amount is with the town. I'm not saying we can't, I just want you to know that it's gonna be an uphill climb.
On the bright side with that, say we were to apply for this, they're not gonna award it till summer. Say you get awarded, contract wouldn't be till probably fall. Realistically, we could slow walk this out probably easily 2 to 3 years until the match and the other grants become less of a burden on the town. I'm here to help. We've done that for multiple communities because you're not wrong. It's when you're buried in grants, it can be a lot, not just the match, but also a certain strain. Obviously, we would be there to administer. But no, I get that's an extremely valid point. So I guess, so I don't take too much time.
And I guess what we would have to know, what I'd have to know to even bring this to the town board would be, what's it look like? How much are we asking for? What's the 5%?
Okay.
And I'd have to have that as a pre-read to my board, like soon.
Yeah, like,
right?
When's your meeting?
Next Thursday.
Okay, so before that, you'll have so then I guess I also need Pam. I have the old New York Forward stuff related to the port, so I have that because we wrote it. So I could probably pull that and get the numbers from that. On the fiber, is there somebody on this body that can get me a number?
I'm gonna try.
I just a brief overview and a number. I don't need rocket science.
So Dave's gonna make that call tomorrow and see if he can get something energized to see if we can get a number.
Yep.
For you.
Does Dave have a contact there?
Not yet.
Okay, so the person who started that company, West Telecom, it's now Blink, what is it, Slick?
Yeah.
He started it in Clayton. He's a local person, and I will reach out to him and have him contact you maybe.
Perfect.
And for the new members, I just put my cell phone. I don't know if you can see it. I just put my cell phone in the chat. I don't know if you can see it, but certainly, obviously, since this is expediency, or really for anything, give me a call on the cell. That's fine. We're good with that.
The grant that we were talking about, that relative to the ferry, is that for engineering or is that for full implementation?
Did you hear that question, Jay?
I think he said, is it engineering or implementation on the ferry?
Yep.
Could be for both.
Probably engineering to get the site ready for a ferry or updated for a ferry.
Why?
Implementation of a ferry.
Difficult investing.
Remember with LGE, it's 250,000 per entity that applies. So if we have two, it's 500,000. If we have three, it's 750 that we can apply for. So you're looking at minimally $500,000 of money, and $500,000 to be good for engineering and some pre-planning. It's not going to buy a lot of construction.
If we go in with the fiber optics and we can have the school as a partner, so that would up our.
Yep.
the amount
And the
we get.
school can be a partner. Absolutely. Schools, fire departments, authorities. Sure. Absolutely.
If we, when would we need to know who's our partners? Like, could we add on to that?
So here's the thing with that.
Or just have
We would
letters
need,
of-
I need somebody to sorry. I need somebody to contact the school.
She's here.
Lisa's here. She's here.
Phone ringing.
So, and here's the nice thing about it. It's just a memorandum of understanding. It's a simple MOU that we have the template for, that the state has accepted. We give it to the entities. You're not committed to the grant because that's not a contract. It's just saying that the parties will, if we will work together, and we want this grant as 3, 4, whatever entities, and that's it. You're not, if you get the grant and it doesn't work and somebody pulls out, well, then it dies down the road. But for expediency, it's just an MOU. So you're not, typically don't need, depending on whatever your process is, we're not asking for a lot. We're not asking for a resolution. We're not asking for commitment. We're just asking for the ability to apply.
Can you send that MOU to us so we can talk to the school or get it to the school?
Yep. Nicole, I'm making a note of that, but you'll find it quicker than me. Can you make a note of that?
I think we're better off with fiber optics.
So do I. And I think
Yeah.
it's more of a quick fix need that we need. We need it. And I
Right,
think we could
and
get
it's been on our strategic plan.
We could get the ambulance on board because it'll help with calls. We can get the fire department on board. Might be able to get the library on board. Like,
yeah,
Any separate entity that we can have that was willing to apply. The application itself is not that bad. The only tricky thing on it, we have to ask the county if they're willing to put it on, any future strategic plan, and sometimes they're slow. But I've gotten that grant without the county's, signing off.
You want the MOU so that it's a template for multiple agencies?
Yeah, we have one. We've used it for the last 3 applications. Heather's the best person to get it from. But it's in SharePoint.
All right.
Hey, Mary, question for you. So, because you were talking about a capacity issue for the town, but it was related to the ferry. The same issue applies for the fiber, correct? The town's not going to want any more grants. So it's just grants, period, regardless of what it's
Well,
for.
and here's the thing, that was a conversation with myself
Yeah.
and the new supervisor. That was not a board
Correct.
position. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that.
Yeah, pre-decision, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just with Water District 7 coming in at so much more money and us trying to find that money, which is huge. Club Street is over budget. So, I mean, we're just looking at, flipping over every rock to try to figure out where we can get money. So to try to commit us to something else at this point.
Well, it can also, and this is something, if we got the grant or get further down the road, at least for the fiber optics, it might be something that we can not have to have as much money from.
Yeah.
That we don't know how much it's gonna be, so.
Well, yeah, I mean.
But if we get the trunk to go from the high school where it already is into the village to the elementary school, then everything else can branch off of that. So I mean, that gives us the base to then move forward.
So Jay, I just want to make sure I heard. So like the 10% match, that can be divided up any way we choose to do it. So let's just say, for example, we had the town, the village, the LDC, the school, the fire department. There's 5 entities. It doesn't mean it's a 5 equal split. I could pay it between 2 entities, but have 5 partners.
Long as that match is covered, nobody's going to care.
Okay.
And definitely the library too. I think.
That gives you
Yeah.
flexibility for the financing.
I love the idea of the library involved in it
Yeah.
So,
from a standpoint of doing the narrative, because the library touches everybody. Same thing with the fire department. Sooner or later, everybody goes to the library or calls the fire department. I love it.
Yep.
so our number one
It's
ask
fiber.
is the fiber.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we have a second one if we find out this phone call said we can't get there from here? Or we just let this go?
I say aye.
We're too close.
We're
now.
too
Too
close,
close, I don't think of anything.
I don't
right?
think we'd make it.
So
Other than we'd have a shot on the ferry. The LWRP, I don't know, and especially based on Pam saying the state's going to be helpful with that for CFA. I think it's more of a CFA.
I mean, there are other options out there that we could, but again, they're too close in. If we could do like, the street lighting and stuff like that, to get LED lighting instead of the incandescents that's out there. But we're way too close for that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're too close.
And I
to it.
apologize for the new members. CFA is consolidated funding application, and that is the big window that the state allows a whole lot of grants, typically between May and July.
So Jade, right now we're trying to kind of find a thing that we can potentially meet by 4 February.
I like the fiber. I don't, like I said, I just need a description, who it benefits, and a quote.
So let's just say that fails, okay? But
Yep.
based on this conversation, the fiber is a high priority for us. Based on your all's experience, what other standing grants you're aware of that we can reattack this in a month,
Well,
4 months, 6 months?
it's funny you would mention that, because number 4 on my list is the congressional application.
Perfect.
And the congressional application is, you guys are Stefanik, I think, right? Or no? I can't remember.
No, fix that.
No, it changed.
No, it's
Yep.
Claudia Tenney.
It's Tenny because she went further north. So we do a congressional application to Congresswoman Tenney's office, and we do an application to U.S. Senator Schumer's office, and we do an application to U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. We ask for the same thing from all 3. Fiber is good for this. I like it a lot. And the way that process works is we go to all 3. They have the ability to submit so many projects. I hate to use the term pork, but it's member directed spending. And they get to choose so many. And we apply to all 3 because if we get at least 2 of them to push the project forward, it's got a high chance of success. And nobody's going to argue with fiber that's benefiting schools, libraries, fire departments, towns and villages, and LDCs. It's not going to get a higher elected official in trouble, versus say like something that's shiny. So I think it fits within that. It's 3 separate applications. It's quirky. I think I told you guys this the last time. 2 years ago, the Congress people, they opened it on a Thursday and closed it on a Monday. So we need to start that process actually kind of now. It probably will open in March, would be my guess, late February, March, and maybe even into April. It's hard to say. They don't say. When the senators open theirs, we'll have about two weeks to get the application in. And it's a similar thing. I would like to start something now so we have support letters for that. So that way when it opens, we just do the application. It's very easy on a town or village board or the LDC because you don't need a resolution. The LDC can be a part of this application as an entity. And anybody you want to add to it. If we're using the schools and the fire department, we throw everybody and their brother into this application and make that request. So there's really no lifting on the part of any of the entities like some of the other grants as far as like getting us documents that we need. All I need once again is the description, the price, and who it benefits. And here's the nice thing about it. You could actually apply for the LGE grant and the congressional grant, because what's nice about the congressional grant is say, you only get, I don't know, $1 million for the LGE, but you need 2 million to do this right. If we get the congressional grant, we can use it for, say not some main trunk, but some other offshoot going somewhere else. They're not going to care. So I like the idea of the fiber for both.
So the support letters that you need for both, it's almost like a pro forma template letter that if you make one for the LGE, with
Yep.
some wordsmithing and stuff, you can shift it to a support letter.
We literally could probably put them both into the same template when we'll come up with the template for you, and it'll be usable for both.
Have you ever done one of these before for fiber?
Congressional or fiber itself? Fiber, no, but congressional, many.
Okay.
To me, I don't, it's just product. It's an item. I've done these for fire stations. I've done them for software. We've done them for computer hardware for police departments. And hell, we did one for 5 fire departments where we bought a house and created a bunkhouse for SUNY Brockport students to live in, as long as they volunteer for 5 different fire departments. We got turnout gear.
It wasn't the congressional ask part of it. It was whether or not you had an example to go jumpstart some of the requirements we'd be looking for, because it's more than just running a line from the school district to the village. It's like extending fiber out to the town of Cape Vincent between those 2 locations.
I'll run it through staff to see if anybody's got experience with that. I don't know.
Let's swing.
Right.
$80,000 per mile.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about that. I really, what I need for the description is something from the vendor.
But they'll charge you for that.
Good.
No, I like, so that if that's this body's wishes, if we move that way, I'm good to go with fiber on congressional. If somebody can get us a number and a description.
The other thing we talked about with the congressional ask though was the ferry.
We did talk about the ferry. It's in the minutes.
I feel like the ferry, there's so much going, and that maybe I'm wrong. There's so much going on. We don't even know what we need right now.
I know, I mean, for us to try to make any decisions or recommendations without, I think, well, Pam, for sure. I don't even know if you're as involved as Jerry.
Jerry's the most involved. We'd have to get him involved. I think he's had recent discussions, but not too much has changed other than Wolf Island purchasing.
That, and then I just met with Jerry on the 2nd, and one of the things came up. It wasn't a topic, whatever. But I agree with Mandy. It's basically every day it seems like something is changing on that. So by the time we put out something, let's say in the 4th, and they're deciding Jefferson County or someone else could have moved forward, and then it's kind of OB, we've kind of wasted that.
Maybe when next year, when this is open again, we can look at that once.
And this opens every year.
Right.
So I say we go with the fiber optics for both and move forward.
Okay. I agree.
I'm good with it. Okay.
Yeah, so that sounds like the motion.
A motion to move forward with both grants with fiber optics and Dave, to have Dave look into pricing.
Perfect.
Thanks, Dave.
We have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Anyone opposed? All right.
Got it.
Okay.
So before we move off grants.
I got a few more.
Okay, good. We'll see if you're gonna get to the ones I have down. So go ahead.
Okay, so next on my list was the TAP grant. I don't know if I saw it in the minutes. We had brought it up, I think, in the last meeting, and Mary, you and I had talked, and Bill and I had talked about it. I don't know if it's the best fit. TAP is a transportation grant from federal DOT that trickles down through state DOT, comes along every 2 years. And your best thing that the only thing I could think of for a combination for Town Village was sidewalks out to the park. There is a 20% match. I did not do a pre-read on it because I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. Just letting you know that it's out there. I just don't think right now with everything that's going on, it's the best fit. And I think
Pam, Pam, this is going from the village to East End Park. So this, I know when we looked at the federal pedestrian safety one, the village said no because of the infrastructure underneath. I know you guys just got infrastructure. So would that change? Because I would say this would be more a village and not a joint thing.
Right.
Right. The entire thing is within the village confines.
I can get an update at our meeting on Tuesday. But Yeah, I'm not sure if, we're talking the actual sidewalks, right? Connecting.
It's actual sidewalks. And what I would need is with more complicated taps, it actually goes out to an engineer, but I think BCNA, Village uses BCNA, correct? I think BCNA would be more than happy to give me a rudimentary drawing of the sidewalks, and then it's linear feet of crusher run and linear feet of concrete, and I don't think the village DPW would have the ability or time to put the sidewalks in, so it would be a prevailing wage costing. I don't know if it's the best fit. I would not opposed to writing it. I've written it before. I just, with some of the things you have going on in the village, I don't know if right now is the time for tap, but it's out there. So I wanted to bring it up, but like I said, I didn't even do a sheet on it because I didn't think you'd go with it based on,
Could you send me the link for it?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, like the town, I know Jerry reiterated their appetite for more grants is very, very low.
Well, with New York Forward and everything, I mean, it's just, and the thing with this, while we would administer it for you, it's a complicated administration because there's easement conversations. And I don't know if the village has the will to do easement work right now. I just,
Is this an annual as well?
it comes every 2 years, so
Okay.
we got
So
nothing
if
to
we
worry.
look at it this year and find out the requirements, we might be able to get.
I just didn't think it would fit. And Mary and I had a good conversation on it, and she kind of gave me the lowdown of some of the things in the village, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. So I will send you the link to it. You're gonna see in the link that there was you had to do a mandatory webinar. We took care of that. We had staff on that, so that wouldn't be an issue. We took care of it if it's something you want to look at. The only thing I have to tell you on that, Pam, is we would have to do an email to the state by the 15th telling them that we plan to apply. That's it. It's a very simple, and we think the cost would be X, of which I'm not too worried about that. Okay. And a brief description saying it's a sidewalk from here to there. That's not the issue. The actual application is not due till end of February.
Okay.
Moving on. It came out a couple of days ago, the New York Plays grant, and that is for park equipment, playground equipment. Our guests and what we're seeing, although the webinar isn't out yet, the thought is that this will be inclusive playground equipment for those with challenges. The nice thing about this grant, it came out 2 days ago, but we can't apply for it until I believe it's May, and then it closes in June. And I think it's on the sheet. So if that's something you guys are interested, I don't think we need to have any real discussion on it today, but I wanted to put it out there with the sheet. If you're interested in plays, we've got some time. But obviously not all the time in the world, but
yeah, talk about that for a second. So, and I wanted to see what you guys thought of this. So the small park, which is on the waterfront where Captain Jack's was. Part of that plan, that's, the park, that's the New York Forward, the town part. Okay, it's so confusing. That's the town part. In the original design, there was a splash pad. And the initial money that was quoted on that was really expensive. When you sent that, Mandy, about the playground, I thought, if they can't afford the skating rink, and it wasn't going to be big, it was going to be, I don't remember the dimensions, but I wanted to see what you guys thought of me suggesting to the town, don't put the splash pad in, let's try to put a small playground there. What do you guys think?
When we were on the conference call with the engineer,
Yes.
I think he said that there has to be some manner of water feature.
Right, and we could put and remember I asked, I said, could it be a fountain?
It could be.
Yeah, and so you put a little fountain over there, but make it part of the playground or whatever.
I think since we have some time for this one, I think, Lisa might be interested in doing something up here or wherever, but also I think, yes, I think talk to the town and see if they're interested in that. we can always revisit and at least we have.
We,
time.
at least on this one, we have a lot of time, but I didn't want to bring it up to the town as a possible sort of switch
Right.
on that design.
Will that affect the current grant or anything now?
I don't think so. I think they would just have to leave a space for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to talk to Edgewater, they're the design firm. But, you know, I didn't even want to bring it up as a possibility to the town if you guys had better ideas for where that might go.
It would be a great asset downtown, to have a play area downtown.
Well, and it'd be right by the docks, so people come in, you know, it's like, oh, that's a great place for my kids to go and play. You
But
know,
I
when
also
they're
thought
transient voters.
a tiny little playground, something at East End wouldn't be bad either, because there's
Yeah.
nothing down there. There's
Yeah.
like a lot of people swim down there, so there's already families there. But I think if we can go for it, it's a great, like a good grant, we should try somewhere.
Yeah.
This is a great opportunity. Governor's got almost $70 million into this one, about half of it going to underserved communities, so that knocks some of it out. But the minimum ask is 100,000, the max is 2.5, includes acquisition, design, construction, renovations. But I will tell you this, everything we're seeing with parks right now, you have to be inclusive. If without the inclusive, it's not going to happen. And you want to move into something called the cell-free zone. Not that you could enforce it, but it's something we're seeing that was in successful applications for NPR. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
What was that, Jeff?
Cell-free?
Cell phone free zone. The governor eats that up, and I don't know how you'd enforce it. But it's just something that the state's big on.
Is the playground facility out here, being used by the elementary school? Yeah, I mean, to me, rather than creating more that we have to maintain in the community, it makes sense to, you know, if there's a requirement or a need to refurbish or upgrade the one that we have here.
The one we have here is pretty new. Is that village or is it schools? The one here, right here, yeah.
Because we had a bunch of volunteers upgrade the older version with the new equipment.
Yeah.
But is this inclusive and?
It has some inclusive, it has a inclusive swing. I don't know if it has a ton, like up at Fort Drum, we have a whole playground that's inclusive. So, I think it has a few things.
Just the idea of creating more that we then have to struggle to maintain over time when we already have one that it's centralized. You know, creating a couple of small ones that's going to end up just having blight later.
Well, I mean, on the other hand, like Gananoque has that nice, you know, playground right by the docks, and it becomes a tourist draw, whereas this isn't going to be a tourist draw necessarily because tourists are not going to know about it.
How big is the one going to be down there though?
It's small,
Swings
it's
and,
small.
I mean, it's not going to be a
For
draw.
some reason, I remember 20 by 20.
Yeah.
So it's not, I mean,
It's-
which is like, because somebody was like, well, could the splash pad then be frozen? And I'm like, and somebody said, you know, that's not big enough. For us. Yeah.
And that's what I get to is we're going to create a very small thing that really, we could say it's a drawer, but nobody's going to go down there unless they're already.
Not if it's 20 by 20.
Yeah.
Well, and remember
so many
that, but
families
remember the
that spend
design
time
isn't final either.
There's a ton of families that spend time down on the green though.
Sure.
And that would give them more opportunities of somewhere to go and something to do and keep them downtown. Like when they come up here, there's nothing up here.
Yeah.
There's
Is
no
the village
businesses.
willing to sign up to keep it nice though?
Well, yeah, I mean, technically it'd be a town responsibility because the park is the town. Don't make me try to explain.
No,
that.
no, you don't have to. But that's my point though. Is
But
again,
yeah, but the thing is that, you know, they're, you know, like in the current design, they've got like fire pits with chairs around them. So, you know, could we say as the town, hey, we don't need fire pits, put some nice chairs there and make the playground bigger. I mean, there's that wiggle room there. There's a pavilion, there's a walking trail, you know, that goes through it. I sent you guys the picture.
You did.
Yeah. I mean, so I need to know, I mean, is the majority of the board okay with me sort of bringing it up as an option for this grant? I mean, just to see not to get them.
In that location.
In that, to ask if they would be interested in entertaining that, not that they would be signing up to do it.
Yeah, it's worth asking. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, with all the talk, what exactly would we be asking to put down there? Just a water feature or just like some swings and stuff?
Yeah, well, we would apply for this playground grant and then design a playground to go in that space.
In the East End Park splash pad.
No,
benches,
no,
or
down,
the
no,
village?
down behind the Village Green.
Like where Captain Jack's was.
Got it. Okay, so disassociated with the Club Street project, but somewhere in that Village Green area.
No, so in the Club Street
Mhm.
project, there's
Yep.
there's 3 segments, but there's 2 segments in this conversation. They're gonna block off the street.
Mhm.
That's gonna get bollards at the end of the street, so that becomes a pedestrian zone.
Right.
That is a village part of the grant. Then, right at the water, there is a park, a small park. It's gonna have a pavilion. It has this legacy walking path that's got signs. You can read about the history of Cape Vincent. It's supposed to have this seating area with fire pits. I'm not sure how that's gonna work. And then there was supposed to be this splash pad. The New York Forward grant says that it's gonna have a water feature. So when John and I were on that call, I said, well, if this thing is $400,000 and we don't have the money, could we put in a fountain? And the guy said, yeah, that would be a water feature, right?
Now, is that what we're talking about putting this?
But yeah, so
Okay.
instead of, what I'm saying is suggest to the town board that there's this grant coming up, that instead of this water feature, could we, because we would have time, go back to Edgewater and say, what if we put a playground in that space? What would it look like? How much would it cost? And, could we get a different grant to do that?
And if they say no, then we know that they're not interested and we can just move on completely. So I think it's worth at least ask them.
I think it's worth an ask, and then we'll know next, and we can have this on our agenda for next month. to talk
Yeah,
more.
I'll
'Cause you'll have an
definitely-
answer, like, yes, they're interested or no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll ask that.
So Dave's point is well taken.
Yeah.
With the blight and the maintenance, there's always the maintenance deal, because everyone looks at the bright shiny object. No one's really worried about the 20 years of upkeep, so like that, in the budget, but let's just say that all balances out. If this is one of the things that was kind of, build it and they shall come, and, now some of it is gone, and we're trying to kind of reinsert something on there, so either visitors by car or people by boat see and say, hey, let's stop there. That's the idea of that whole section,
Mhm.
is to build things so they'll go and come.
Right.
So there's some risk there, but if the town or the village or whoever owns it is willing to go ahead and do that, then fine.
Yeah. I mean, Pam, do you have any thoughts on that, since the pedestrian mall will be right next door? And I know you like the splash pad. I'm worried we're not gonna have the money.
So just a couple things. I know initially in all the meetings, there was opposition to putting bright, colorful playground equipment in that area. It's pretty small. So they talked about doing some kind of natural things where people in that walking thing, and I don't know if this has disappeared from the plan, where you could do leg stretches, little things like that, but that's not a playground. So I think it's worth mentioning to the town. I will bring it up at the village board next week, in addition to considering any other property that the village has, East End Park, the property across the street. I don't know that any of those are going to be a fit for that, but we'll throw it out there. Because we did, the village board got copied on the parks grant as well, so we can do that.
All right. That I like the fact that we have time, and I love the ideas on this. I think we should be able to find something. Be aware it does have a 20% match. In kind can be used. So my next should have been 6.5, and I apologize for leaving it out, is the MPR, the Parks Grant. As you know, that's the one where the governor got everybody excited. They did 10 million in the last round, and they got 130 million dollars in applications, or 140 million, something like that. They gave out just roughly 10 awards, give or take, maybe a few more. The second round of that with $10 million is open. And so in the November meeting, I looked at the minutes. There was some thought to reapply for it. When it opens, it is open. It did open in between the last meeting and this meeting. It is due February 9th. And that was the enclosed ice rink community space. The enclosure over the old ice rink had a cost of about $832,000 with a match of $93,000. Obviously, we didn't get in the last round, but if it is the pleasure of this body for me to resubmit, we will.
That is the town, however, correct?
Yeah, correct. That is the town. Yes, excuse me, the town. So I kind of need to know relatively quickly. I know and I know, Mary, I know this goes back to what we were talking about yesterday with comp plans and LWP, and it's not that. So I'm going to need to know. So I guess I'm going to task you with this. I need to know by your next board meeting
Yep.
whether or not you want us to move forward. With resubmitting. It's an easy thing for me to do because we already have it. I am going to have to tweak it though, to be, I think what hurt it at the last round, we need to find some element of inclusion, what that would be for ice skaters. I've done a little research for those with disabilities in skating, and I did actually find some things.
Actually, Jay, I don't mean to cut you off, but I can help you with that because I wrote several grants for the Canandaigua event center that is basically a skating rink for them to do adaptive skates.
So we would need to add something like that into it, I think, to make it competitive. So Mary, let me know.
What grant is this?
This is called
MRP or MPR.
NPR,
Okay.
and if you recall, that they wanted to cover the ice rink out here. Dan said, yeah, let's reapply, but there's.
So can I just
Yes,
cover it or enclose it?
cover, it's just a cover.
No.
It says
It's the 93
enclosure.
3K match. I seriously doubt this, but I will take the to-do and as part of my ask.
Let me know. And like I said, it's easy for us to put this one in, and between Nicole and I, we'll have the inclusion issue solved. But we'll need to know because that's the February 9th deadline on that. And I apologize for not having that in my agenda on that. Next would be
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Sorry, go ahead.
So you were talking about in Canandaigua, it's an ice rink and an event center. Now, what does that entail?
Yeah, so what they do is they're actually like they have hockey come in and they do skating and stuff, but then they can also they put a floor over the ice and they will hold events there and stuff for people. So they've made it into not only the ice rink, but they've also made it into an event center.
It sounds like zero.
Yeah, but that
Right.
sounds like an interesting idea. I mean, I don't know.
I'd much rather have that.
And I can't talk about it. It's been awarded, but it hasn't come out media wise. We did do something for a municipality that was mentioned in this conversation, and it's going to tie into skating with some adaptive skating and things like that. And it does have an enclosure, and it will be able to be covered. And there is money for that down the road. If that's a conversation, something you want us to look into, we just got $2.5 million for somebody on that. So, but I can't say it. I apologize. I could offer if we were off camera, I could, but I can't.
That's funny.
All right. Moving along then. The comp plan grant update. So the state sent out awards. I don't know if we were selected because we didn't get a letter stating such, and sometimes when they make the awards, there may be other announcements, but I have a feeling that we didn't get it because those that did, Nicole and I were very surprised. They gave out very few awards. I don't know if this body's going to be necessarily heartbroken about it because I know the town wasn't overly thrilled with some of the aspects that were tied into that, where you had to have something. You didn't say you had to have wind, but you had to have something related to wind in the plan. That's using that as an example. And I know how that is an extremely sore subject in the Cape. So, I don't think we got it. So what we'll need to determine between now and say April, do we want to reapply for that? Or whatever version comes out in that CFA round. It's not a decision. I did not make a sheet on it because it's too early. But I just wanted you to know, I don't think we got it. Nicole, you have a thought on that? You want to add to that? Or did I cover
No, I
it?
think you're right. I just want you to also know, like when you when you do apply for the Climate Smart Planning Grant, it not only does the state have to approve it, we also would have to do land use for that wind and that solar and everything. Even if you're not allowing it right now, it has to be in your plan. And then not only do you have to approve the plan, but it also has to go to the county and the county has to approve it as well. So it's not just your municipality that puts this plan together and then you have final say. The state also makes you go to the county planning board and they also get to put their say on it. So it's just something to think about if you're going after those grants. Another option that you could do is you could actually go after what's called the Empire State Development Strategic Planning Grant. And that one you could incorporate not only your comprehensive plan, but we could also incorporate the strategic plan into one document. So you're doing the comprehensive and an economic development plan all in one. And that is a 50-50% match. But then what you do is you actually also apply for the CDBG planning grant, which will also cover that economic comprehensive plan. So there's two grants that you can go after and just kind of wordsmith a little bit your comprehensive plan to incorporate two plans in one.
The economic portion of that, who would that apply to? The town and the village or the LDC?
They would do both. So it would be the same as your comprehensive plan. The only difference is that we would be taking the comprehensive plan and we would also incorporate that economic development piece into one for both municipalities. So
And that
it could
would have-
still be a joint plan.
And it would have less restrictions than the smart growth.
Absolutely it would, yes.
When
I
does
think that appeals to you.
Yeah, definitely, I think.
When might that one open, Nicola?
That one opens in May.
Nicola, with the new sheet we're putting out, at some point, if you could be so kind as to put together on the pre-read sheet for them.
Yep, I'll send that to you by Monday.
I appreciate that. No, it's just another option that we didn't have before and we have now. And Nicole and I have been kicking this one around to try and find a way, because we know the sensitivity of the community to, the state coming in and making you do something. We get that. So,
And I'll let you know, I have wrote the economic development strategic plan and the CDBG plan to couple them together successfully for a comprehensive economic development plan 4 times now. Every single time I've wrote it successfully.
Yep. No, we like that. So we'll do a cut sheet, or excuse me, a pre-read on that. Next was the technical assistance grant. I kind of touched on it earlier. That was the one where we submitted for, the technical assistance for housing, but because of the lack of pro housing, we basically, Nicola was put it in the application that our pro housing is in progress. That grant has been submitted. There's been no word on it yet. We'll keep you updated when we get to it. Before I touch on number 9, the micro grant, there was one other thing I just wanted to make you aware of it. The state has out, it opens in February, closes in March. It's a grant for daycare centers. Not that this would matter to this body, I don't think. But you can get funding up to, I think it's $2.5 million. And I did put that in the grant sheet, that the overall sheet. And it's for, you can construct a daycare. So if you know somebody in the community that is running a daycare and they feel there is either a daycare desert or a daycare shortage.
We already got that one. There's somebody in the community that already is in works of building right
Perfect.
now.
Just wanted to make sure that when we see something, we want to let you know. Okay, perfect. I guess then we'll move on to the micro grant. We know you have yours internally, and I saw the emails flying around on that. Nicola was able to submit a rubric for scoring to you. That is something that's utilized on the state level. And Nicola, if you want to touch on the CDBG micro enterprise grants while we have everybody here, and especially the new board members, if that's something there's some interest in, we could put together a pre-read for you, but I thought Nicole could just give you a thing on a brief CDBG micro enterprise grant.
Yep. So the micro enterprise grant, what that is for is that is geared towards your small businesses of 5 employees or less, businesses. And what that does is it will actually allow you to grant anywhere between 5,000 and 35,000 to a small business. You can ask anywhere between 200,000 to 300,000 total. And there is administration fees that you can ask for in that grant application. The other thing you should know is that 51% of the money needs to go to new startup businesses that have been in business for less than 6 months. So the way that that grant would work is we would come out and we would meet with all of your small businesses along with your at-home businesses or anybody that is looking to start a business and pitch it. And then they would do a pre-application and that would determine if you're going after grant funds. It would also determine the amount of money that you would be requesting. And they would also have to attend an economic development assistant or economic assistance program as well, and get a certificate before they could get their grant money. And it is reimbursable, so they'd have to spend the money before they could get the grant award.
Questions on that?
Who's that funded through?
It's funded through Community Block Grant Program, the
CDBG?
economic development.
Yeah,
Yeah,
OCR,
yeah, the state.
Office of Homes and Community Renewal, CDBG. That's where that comes from. And Nicola's got, one of the reasons I was thrilled to have Nicola come on board with me is that's a grant I've always wanted to do for communities for small business, and she's got a lot of experience with it.
So I guess my question on that would be, I would think we'd want to pre-read on that and.
Yep.
And
Yep.
again, Dave, you know, how do we possibly tie that in?
They're totally separate.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as if we were talking to people about, I'm just wondering, would it be one of those things where, you know, people might come forward for ours, do we say, oh, and there's the possibility of this other thing? You know, as a way to sort of communicate it, I don't know.
What are the matching requirements for these CVDG ones?
There's no match for the micro enterprise grant. The only thing they have to do is hire one full-time employee, which everybody needs employees, and they can divide it up too, so, which is nice.
So 1 to 5 employees, 5 being the max?
Yeah, so they would have anywhere between 5 or less employees currently.
I think it'd be great to get the pre-read more information because I think we
We
have
can
a
get
lot
that.
of small businesses, that kind of thing.
Yep, and that's why I
And-
think you'd have to do an informational workshop on that, because there's a lot of questions normally, and that's best to do in person. So I would just drive up and do that,
Yep.
and work with those small businesses to answer those questions, and things
We
for
would
them.
just promote it through social media and on the web pages of everybody, and do an informational session where people can come and just,
Mhm.
frankly, it's best for them to just sit across the table from Nicola while she just answers their questions.
And that's something the LDC could sponsor?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we definitely need a sheet on that.
I like the idea that I think it's, you know, you're helping small business within the community, you're bringing jobs in. I mean, it's kind of a win-win all the way around.
Well, they're gonna send this pre-read, and who are they gonna send it to? How does it get distributed to us?
They're gonna start putting it in the Google Drive, right? It's
So
gonna
you'll
be-
see it in the Google Drive. Right now, I've got them in there loose, but we're going to create a pre-reads folder. And then we're going to email out the pre-reads prior to meetings for everybody to see. So you'll get it in an email. Like I said, Mary, Bill, and I had just a way to, things were too loose. So this is a way to make sure you'll have access to it through an email and a pre-read. And then you'll be able, if you don't have that convenient, you can go into the Google Drive, look at the pre-reads, and you'll see it in there.
So
Under the
Jay,
G folder.
so the one thing missing in that is some sort of notification that a read ahead has been dropped into the Google Drive. So
Oh.
there's distance between, if it's 3 weeks for a meeting and the read ahead got dropped and no one knows about it, then 24 hours, which is a minimum requirement for the meeting, and said, hey, it's in there, but had we known it'd been dropped 3 weeks before, we could.
I think it's easy enough to just, I mean, typically my goal is to drop the pre-reads altogether, prior to a meeting, but if there's something like this that comes up or time is of the essence, we'll give notification that it came out through email.
Yep. So I'll send these pre-reads out by Monday.
So expect to see those.
If not sooner.
those two. Let's see, looking back. So we covered the micro grant. Before I get to the questions, I just want to do, something I guess will be a quick PSA. We've been a little bit loose, and it's been, trying to who's going to be, tip of the spear for you guys, and we're still working that out internally. But I guess this will be for the men in the group and women with men in their lives. Within the last couple of months, I had a prostate cancer diagnosis and had surgery. So if you've seen a little less of me, that is why. And normally I would not put that on the public, and I'm hoping you don't put that in the minutes. But it's a reason to show you why you've seen a little less of me. I'm good. Everything's good now, and we're good. And we, hired some additional help within the office too as well. So gentlemen, get your PSAs checked. Women with men in your life, get those PSAs checked. I'm only 54, and here I am. So, but I felt I owed an explanation. Normally I wouldn't give my personal stuff out, but if you've seen a little less of me over the last few months, that's why. And I just wanted to put that out there to you. I appreciate you don't share that, but I felt I owed the body an explanation if you saw a little less of me. So there's that. I will leave it open to questions. Happy to help. And what can we do? Obviously, we'll add Mary's suggestion to that pre-read. If anybody else has suggestions, we're happy to add them, or anything else going forward. Bill, you and I will have a conversation about offline. If you could call me so we could set up the times for when you and I will do our little fun adventure.
Okay. A little while ago, you mentioned an industrial development agency.
Yes.
Is that a county entity? Does the town have
Yes.
its own IDA?
It's
just-
Jefferson.
No, Jefferson County.
Okay. I have a lot of experience there.
And I have some familiarity with them because of the New York Forward process. They were very helpful to us, and some other clients that I have within Jefferson County, we have interaction with them. The only thing I didn't really have interaction with on the list from the milestones would be your county legislator. And there was something else on there that I can't remember. I didn't have a lot of interaction with, but we're gonna make sure we do.
Other questions? So, Jay and Nicola, if I captured, please everybody chime in if I didn't get this right. So basically, what I'm catching to this meeting is you all are willing to assist the town in any uploading of the pro-housing documents if they require any assistance. You're looking for a letter signed by the town supervisor and the village mayor for this whole pro-housing thing. You're looking for the resolution for the village for pro-housing.
We have it, or we have the towns. We need the village. Sorry.
Right, the village one. The village has some questions, so you need to link up with a time to go ahead and answer those questions with regard to the whole pro-housing issue.
Yep.
You talked about coming up here and meeting with the businesses and all this other stuff. So I've got that. That's a continuation. You all are going to send us the MOU to the LDP with regard to the LGE grant.
Yep.
You need from us for the fiber projects for both the congressional ask and LGE, the description, the price, and who benefits.
Yep.
For the village, for the sidewalk project, you need, while doubtful, the village owes you an answer whether or not they're going to go ahead and pursue that.
Yes.
All right, the plays, I didn't catch the deliverable. So if someone here has notes, or if you do, that there was.
We would really need the deliverables. We would need a location. We would need, and we can, because this is early, we work with a lot of vendors, and I know you guys work with design people for plays. We also are working with a separate entity that we got a municipality in Texas, a grant for the equipment as well, which could, I think, be utilized in addition to plays, maybe towards the match. So we got time for that, for deliverables.
But you need a location.
And I need a location.
Well, Mary was gonna gauge interest.
I'll
Yeah.
gauge interest on Club Street and then we'll
And
see.
Pam was gonna talk about East End potentially,
And East End Park.
or anywhere else, yeah.
All right.
Well, next month, we should have a better idea of location.
All right, and then for the NPR, you just need to know the town's answer whether or not they want to reapply.
Yes,
for the,
sir.
ice rink. And then the comp plan, you need to know before April whether or not to reapply or not.
Correct.
And then for the micro enterprise grant, you all are gonna go ahead and send us a read ahead for that. And then for read aheads that are dropped in Google Drive, you all are gonna notify us that they've been dropped.
Yeah. I think what I may do is send them to you in an email and notification that they've been dropped, so you have it both ways.
That'd be good.
That'd work, yeah. Did I miss anything? So,
When did the app go into the rink cover? Was it last year?
I think they did do it last year. I think it was last year. and
Because
they
the
did it.
construction costs continue to skyrocket, so you
Yeah.
might want to amend the budget. I don't know.
Yeah,
If
that's a good
town
point.
wants to-
We would add probably 10% to that, I would think.
93K match.
Yeah.
That's what it currently is, yeah.
If they do, then
We are-
I got dropped in with a bunch of aliens that voted that night.
other questions? All right, hey, you all are welcome to stay on, Jay and Nicola, or we can let you go.
I think I'm gonna eat dinner.
Okay,
Nicola, you good?
thank you, guys.
And Bill, call me at your convenience, to go over some of those things as far as scheduling. Just, I know you work a lot. Call me, you wanna call at me after hours, you can call me after hours, that's fine. To
Okay,
go over, to talk about scheduling and how we wanna do what's best. That's an offline conversation. No need tying up this body on that.
all right, thanks.
Thank you all. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, who's got the additional project? Were you just gonna continue that, or how are we divvying those out?
I'm sorry, where are you?
I'm sorry, we did the grant, the additional
Oh,
project?
additional projects. I sent out the report. Not a lot happening on the small project funds, just because a lot of it is outside work. So you guys could look at that. Pam also sent a note that the two, dual port fast chargers, so there'll be 4 places for people to plug in. We're still waiting for the redo of the infrastructure grant letter. We are going to get it. It's just a matter of they had to redesign because we downsized from a much bigger footprint. So the last thing we got from Connor was like any day now, you know, when he talked to National Grid. So it's moving along, and I'm hoping that we'll have something there by spring.
All right, thank you. Let's see, did anyone have Stacy? I didn't hear from Stacy.
No, she wasn't on.
Yeah, I don't, when was she going to that fishing thing? Isn't that right around now?
Maybe, she
I-
did tell us.
It
Maybe
was
this
early
one.
January, so
All right.
she may be there.
Okay, I'm sorry. You all saw the email hopefully and have had a chance to look at the website. So
Looks great.
it looks like the Outer Banks website, like we went ahead and talked about in the group. Her and I have been going back and forth. She's already tweaked some things on there. The one section, it either says grants or it was a subset in there, but as we approve the micro grant policy, as hopefully we get G&G, not just the current things, but get us a list of habitual grants that come out over the year, because the idea is to almost be a Chinese buffet, so anyone can go in there. So if a school or a business or an individual can apply for it, it's there. And then the things that we're scrambling and reacting to are the things that are opportunity, like this just came out, it's brand new, you got a week to apply, and minimize those and identify those things for the community, not just us or the town or the village. And so that's where that link will be. And Stacy knows that as a placeholder.
Should they go on the umbrella site or on our site?
So we could do either one. The idea was when we designed it was to just be all things Cape Vincent, and then kind of minimize the LDC. I mean, we'd have our little logo say, hey, it's us. But it's not our site. And then when we designed it, now we can do anything, to be quite honest. I just don't know if enough people will know to go one layer down to the LDC one for the grants.
I'm
That
just
would be my
saying that
thing.
it would be just housed there.
Yeah,
And just so, you know, the link could be on the umbrella site, you
Yeah.
click
Yes.
on it, and then, but the meat is in ours,
They
since
code
it's
it,
kind of
yeah,
our
yeah,
mission.
links to the LDC.
yeah, but on the umbrella site, yeah, they have the thing, yeah, whether or not it's housed there or the LDC, absolutely, it can be housed on our site.
Okay, yeah,
Just as long as like kind of the one click rule says, huh, I'm curious, click, and then it goes.
you're
to
on
wherever.
that page on the LDC.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, that was the idea.
So the strategy will be to get people to go to the umbrella site first.
Yeah,
I mean,
so.
how does this
Yeah.
look visually? There's an umbrella site, then there's chamber, and then.
Yep. So what it is basically, it's a long story, but we tried to get the chambers
do it on-
URL, but they wanted to keep theirs. So ours is very close to that. And there's a reason for the way metrics work and
That's
sites and
what
blah, blah, blah. So, but when you type this in, hopefully in Google, it should be one of the first 3 or 4 you get in there. So if you get the umbrella site, welcome to Cape Vincent, it's got some feng shui stuff. Then at the top, you know, why stay here? Here's different organizations, here's our demographics, like school type stuff. And you can click there. Now, some will point to different sites like the town site, the chamber site, whatever. Some are housed on our website, but the idea is this Cape Vincent type thing. And whether you want to visit, whether you want to think about live, whether you want to think about investing, the commercial properties link, and it's just kind of all encompassing, and some are housed and some are linked. That was the idea. You just come there, just, this is Cape Vincent.
But what is that URL, that first website that you go to?
There you go.
Oh,
That's right.
yeah.
It's CapeVincentNY.org.
Yeah, you might
Well,
not,
that's an
Well, you might
LDC.
not have.
no.
No, I
So, so you may not have the email from Stacy. I don't know if
I
you're
do.
on it. Oh, you do? Okay, did you click it?
Yeah,
Okay, that's the Cape Vincent one.
That's what we call the umbrella site.
Yeah.
that is. but
Yes.
That's, I assumed that was the LDC.
No.
one.
We have a different
no.
website.
No, I know,
Yes,
because
yes.
it sends us, it
Yes,
sends to the LDC website, which I wanted to talk about when we have a chance.
yeah.
Um,
And that's where I keep all the kind of the more boring stuff.
Yeah.
The governance and all the stuff by law.
But the chamber
So
also has a website
they do.
that looks very similar to the Cape Vincent NY.
So to a degree.
Which you've collaborated on apparently.
To a degree, yes, and we could talk about that, because there is kind of a separation of labor. I mean, Lori will certainly tell you, basically, the chamber's mantra is basically promotion of those business stuff, but there is kind of a pay to play, for lack of a better phrase, for that. Whereas our charter is all events, all businesses, all locations. And there is kind of a gray area in there. And so the idea was to go ahead, and there is a little bleed over, but those things are chamber, trying to keep those strictly chamber. Thus the link, thus some of the things that links to their site. And then stuff that we house. Is it perfect? No. Are there growing pains with that? Yes. But
The one that Stacy sent the link to was excellent, I thought.
Isn't it
Yes,
beautiful?
right.
But I do think that the landing page, the homepage for the chamber and the one that Stacy sent are very, very similar. But so, you know, to me, it was confusing a little bit if I'm searching for Cape Vincent.
there's a reason why we wanted their URL.
Absolutely, we gotta get it.
But, so we asked.
Alarm us.
We asked, Lori went to her board, they did not agree to that, so we had to go with the next best option, which is basically, it's very close, but with NY, it is what it is, and that's what we get.
Yeah.
But you are correct, we did try for that, because the way the algorithm worked, it would be the first one to go to get.
And you know, one thing too so one of the things the town needs to do is update their government website, because that thing is awful, and because I complain, guess who's in charge? Anyway, I just gotta learn how to duck. But anyway, but now, like things with the umbrella website, so for example, I think that all of the sites that are currently out there, and I know one thing we're gonna do, like, there's a history thing on the town website. Well, it was there because nobody else, but the history museum now has one, so I'm like, get rid of that, right? So I think as this umbrella site gets launched, I think, you know, organizations can look and say, do I really need that anymore? Or can I do something else and do less that I'm maintaining? So that's at least what I'm gonna do with the town site.
What is the euro?
Kid Vincent. I don't think it's out, it's not promoted out there yet.
Oh,
is
I
it?
can't get on it? I can't.
No, I
You
mean,
can,
You can.
KVinceNewYork.org.
yeah.
Cape Vincent.
NY.
NY.org.
Oh, .org. Okay, I missed that one.
That's really the only thing from Stacy, but if you have not seen it, play with it a little bit. And again, she's still kind of taking input, but it was based off the design and the discussion that the board at the time had, and we can change anything
Yeah.
on that.
Very
But
nice.
she did a
Good
very good
start.
job visually
Yeah.
with that, so, I'm sorry, Dave. you
Yeah,
had
there
the
were two
bags.
options. I know part of the action items for this month were the bags that put the takeaway materials in. So did a bunch of different comparisons and prices and stuff, but the real question comes down to, do we want to get a bag that fits the brochures, the 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper specifically? Those are a little bit more expensive to be able to put in a sheet of paper as well as the brochures and whatever like coupons or anything that she's putting in there. Or do we want to get a standard size shopping bag that then, basically one is more customized to the actual welcome packet she's given out, or something that then
Is more.
fit it, but it's more utilitarian so they
I
can.
sent her a note and asked her,
use
did
it.
you see her response?
I haven't seen it. Sorry. Came
No,
straight
no,
from
that's
work.
okay. Because when you said it, I was like, oh, I think I want to have she thinks.
I had an idea for that too. If you talk to the businesses, I think, like, I know that the bookstore would, but I imagine a whole bunch of businesses would pay to have an ad on the bag. So then it doesn't cost us anything. In other words, if you charge like $50 an ad or whatever.
Yeah.
We'd probably get 10 businesses. That's $500. That pays for, and then next year you do the same thing. So, or whatever, however, many you need.
That's a good idea.
If Stacy wants to do that, then that's great.
Yeah.
I
and
think
they-
the bigger bag, just because it's more usable.
Yeah,
I
and
agree.
It
Yep.
would,
Yeah.
people might use it rather than just throw it away.
I think so too. It's a little less expensive.
But also, if we're able to do that type of thing, we could use them for the welcome bags, but also use them for promo items.
Yeah, exactly.
To help not only the businesses that are sponsoring it, but also get information out. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
We
it's
can
still gonna
talk-
help everybody because it's gonna
Yeah.
promote Cape Vincent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so basically she said the 11 by 10 6 is big enough, but the larger ones, if they're cheaper, would work too. So it's not, my fear was if we went with big ones and she had like 2 pieces of paper to put in, it
Yeah.
would look crappy, but she
Yeah.
seems like either one would work, so
Okay.
How do they get distributed?
Stacy's gonna do it.
Out of the chamber office? or-
She's the tourism, she works for us. Well, she's a contractor for us.
Right, but how are they
So
gonna get in
she's gonna,
people's hands?
yeah, so she is going to monitor as houses close. Right now, we're just doing houses. And then she will reach out to the people and she will hand carry and deliver it.
It's like a little
Great.
welcome packet, but if we get the businesses to help sponsor it and it's not a cost for us, I like the idea of also, like, if she's going to a fishing thing, have 10 of them on the table. She doesn't have to
Yeah.
give all of them out. but-
Right. I mean, if we
Yeah.
will have, I mean, because I don't know how many we'll go through. It was like 250. was the
250 is the minimum production run for shopping bags. They're the ones that you'd like, they're the regular cloth bags that you get. You can obviously buy more. They're a lot less expensive than giant runs. My thought for this is that we could authorize the first run just with the Cape Vincent logo on it, let her start with that packet and then move on to, to getting
Because I
sponsorship
think,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, she's been working with the businesses together, coupons and little things to
Yeah.
put in it. So she's been working the relationship with all those businesses. So I think to do your thing on a second run would make sense. I like the idea of the big.
Well, I mean, I
ones.
think if she just called on the business, I'm sure it would not take any time. and it could be on the
Yeah, I
first
wonder what
run.
it does, how long would it take for a design thing?
Oh, no, you just send her.
Yeah, the
regular
design's
logo.
already done. I mean, it
Yeah.
takes less than 5
No, but if
minutes.
you were putting all the
You're putting the
businesses' logos on it.
It
Oh,
would just
she's
be,
just
and
gonna
it
have
might
everybody
be an
just send
additional
their logo.
cost
It will,
when
but-
you're buying promo items, because you probably have one side with the LDC and the other side with the businesses. And it'd be additional cost, but the sponsorship would cover it. And the actual getting a proof is.
Yeah,
pump
they
them
just
up.
want the camera ready, whatever, and you send it.
Soliciting those though would take time and slow it down a little bit.
She wants to do that.
I think it would take like a week.
Yeah, well, I don't think it.
Yeah, if we
just
call
get-
the businesses, they say yay or nay and then send it.
Let's just ask Stacy, only
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she's already built some of the
Yeah,
relationships.
she's one that-
and she could tell us real quick. it's
So
not like
Mike, would
this,
you
boom.
take it to do
We'll
the,
see.
to have
Yeah.
a
Good luck
conversation
to
with her
Stacy.
about?
Yeah. Yep.
And then we'll just wait until
Yeah.
that, and if you guys know something ahead of time, email it, so we're not waiting until February
Yeah,
for the
no, I'll
conversation.
call her tomorrow.
So Vincent and I moved here 2 years ago now. We really would have appreciated to reach out to some.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's why we
yeah.
did,
It's
I mean,
really cool.
yeah, at one point, the Improvement League did it, and I'm on the Improvement League, and there was a lot of discussion, and then we were like, wait a minute, why does the LDC just do this? And that's what we came up with.
Okay.
The other thing with tourism stuff is, we had sent out that survey, and to be honest, I haven't regenerated it, so I'll make sure it's in the to review file. If you guys can all look at the survey to the businesses, and then we'll try and action that.
You'll send an email with a link.
Yes, I will.
You are so
So you already did the survey?
We have it drafted.
creative.
Oh,
So
okay.
we
but
have
it
not
hasn't
put it
been
out.
signed. Got it.
No, we wanted to wait until
Yeah,
after
see,
the
we didn't get
holidays.
it
No,
yet,
we
so-
wanted to wait until after the holidays anyway, so we'll shoot for February.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Anything else, Dave? Maybe?
No.
Okay, let's see, officer reports. Treasurer,
Yes.
you're up.
All righty. Well, we're going to do the general housekeeping first, and we're going to be approving the payment of these the outstanding invoices. The first one is for G&G, their standard amount, which is $22.30. Do I have a motion to approve?
motion, Mandy.
And I second.
Don't we just?
You can do them all at
together.
once.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do them all together.
All right, we'll do it all at once then. Our rent payment, January rent, $150. The town of Cape Vincent for Casey's services, $200.20. Stacy's fee, which is standard, $21.66.67. And those are the bills that need to be approved for payment.
I motion to pay bills.
Yep, second. Okay, Dave seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
And you'll also note just a few general debits. I don't want to, I know it's been a long meeting so far, but I wanted to bring up 2 points that maybe might streamline things a little bit better. And I don't know if there's any prohibition against these, but I was thinking about whether the board would be willing to grant a standing authorization to pay standard recurring charges such as G&G, Stacy, and our rent. It's always the same. If there was any change in those amounts, that standing authorization wouldn't cover it. And I would have to get a new authorization. And the board could revoke or suspend the blanket authorization in whole or in part at any time. So we wouldn't have to do this for the standard monthly. It's the same every single month.
I'll second that.
So,
Is that a motion?
so it already exists. So we've just been kind of doing this because we've been doing this, but if you just look at our procurement and lobbying policy, as our treasurer, you're authorized to go ahead and do, if it falls within the rubrics, up to a certain amount.
And do you happen to recall that amount?
I think Carol had wanted this
Right,
to do this. I don't think anybody needed her to do that,
Yeah.
what
Right.
we've been doing. So what you just did.
yeah, I think she wanted the check and balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we already have a policy if we want to go this way. So.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize that let's do it. If it's okay with everyone, I'd like to do it that way, just because again, when the charges are just the same.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fine.
The only other one would be Casey's services, and I guess I'll look at the policy, and as long as her numbers come within the cap, I assume.
Yep.
I could do that too.
Yep.
Okay.
And the only thing I would ask is if any of the members come up with an issue, about holding payment or a question about a payment, we can certainly talk about it. And certainly I would raise up things like insurance payments or anything sort of out of the unusual. So you're just aware that it's happening.
Sounds
Are we good?
Yep.
And so Kathy, we're still gonna get the financial reports in the Google Drive in case you'll send us
Absolutely.
to look at what is getting paid. So if I don't remember what we're paying G&G, I can look that up.
Absolutely. It just, instead of going through this list every single time, as long as everybody's comfortable with this, and I apologize for not seeing in the procurement policy, I just thought it would make it, our meetings a little bit more efficient.
No, you're doing what we've been doing. all the time, so, but it sounds like the consensus, we're okay with the recurring expense as long as it meets the thresholds of our policy.
Yeah, and I'll double check the threshold, so great. The next issue is the signers on the bank account. At this point, I would like a motion to revoke the authority of both Carol and Dan, and an appointment and a grant of rights to Bill and myself.
I motion,
And I'd like to leave Mary in place as the third person. I had originally proposed that Dave be the third signer, but sometimes a bank will require a certification by the secretary, and now that Dave's secretary, I think it'd probably be advisable to have him independent from the signers.
I motion for that. Are you all right?
Yeah, I was already on there,
Yeah,
so
you're
I don't
good.
Yep.
change.
You're good staying on.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All right,
All in favor, I guess aye.
Yes.
All right,
The other thing I was going to just throw out there, and this is sort of a unique situation, but I guess it could recur. Like right now, Casey and well, actually, I decided after talking to Casey that we didn't generate checks to make these payments for this meeting because there's nobody except for Mary. There's no one to sign. All right.
It has to have 2 signatures.
They have to have 2 signatures. So we couldn't issue checks. So we will issue the checks once, both Bill and I get down to the bank and get registered with the bank. But I was wondering if there's any reason why we'd have to change the bylaws, but maybe we should have this meeting in December and appoint officers then and basically say it's effective January 1. So we don't have this gap.
So in our December meeting, we appoint members, we appoint officers for the starting January 1st. We could add that.
Because right now we're required to do that in the January meeting, and by the bylaws, and I'm just saying maybe we should kick it back to December so we can sort of hit the ground running.
Yeah.
We were we in danger of not having a quorum at the December meeting? I thought it was kind of.
December, May, because I know.
Yeah, December is always a problem
Yeah.
because the
There's
schools keep moving
Right, so
stupid
I'm just-
concerts.
And I missed
We
it.
keep moving them, and we move and then they like, I'm just kidding, and they move it again.
And yeah, no, I just threw that out there just because, right now, like I said, we couldn't issue checks. They'll have to wait. I mean, and if there's something came up, we're just not in a position to be able to deal with it. We can appoint agents to do certain things, but when it comes to banking, I'm kind of not uncomfortable with that, but I feel issuing checks, we need 2 signatures. So,
Yeah.
So we can think about it, whether you think it's
So,
viable.
Kathy, on the tactical issue, that we don't have checks for people that we owe money to. G&G is not a problem. That's an online thing, correct?
We do not pay it by online. We do actually issue a check. Because believe it or not, G&G charges a convenience fee to pay them online.
But we paid them online. I don't
I
remember.
think-
Anyway, okay. So the question is though, we have to have minutes that show that Bill and you have been approved to be a signatory on the bank, right?
Yes, and those minutes are today.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. Say again.
That's why we made this motion and
Yep.
approved it today. When Casey has these minutes available, we will take them down to the bank. And then Bill will need to come in, I'll need to come in, and we will put our signatures, do the signature cards.
So the other thing I may be able to do, and I don't know if the bank will accept this, it takes me a couple of hours to get minutes done. I mean, at least, and that's if I'm sitting there for 2 hours doing them between the
Right.
meeting video and my notes. I'm wondering if the bank would accept, like if I went home after this meeting and just wrote something on the letterhead that said per the meeting
Yeah.
Why
Can
would
I
they
sign
need
that?
minutes?
Like
Is
per the
that-
meeting
can I
on
just-
this date,
Yeah, I think they
this
do
was
need
the
minutes.
motion.
Do they in minutes? I
Yeah.
wonder if they would take a resolution.
You know,
Yeah.
well, that was one of the things I think we were talking about is whether it was easier to do a resolution for this. Most banks that I've dealt with in the past they had actually their own form of resolutions and you had to just pass their resolutions or adopt it. But we could certainly do a set, just this, that these are, this is an excerpt, a true and accurate excerpt of the minutes from the meeting of such and such. And Dave could do a certification as treasurer that they're complete and accurate. I don't know how strict they're going to be.
Well, but did you say they'll take a resolution?
Let's put it this way. When I spoke to Holly at the bank, they said they do it off minutes.
Okay.
And sometimes I hate to say it, but it's sort of like, I want to give them what they're comfortable dealing with.
Well, and see, the real problem is, of course, anything you do is gonna be a draft minutes, and it's not gonna have been approved.
So,
So that's 2 months.
I think they'll take.
but
the
I
draft.
don't think I think we could slide on whether it's a draft or not as to, for this particular purpose.
I mean, my thought was to do some kind of skinny down, these are the minutes of the annual meeting. This is, add a resolution on there that says, these are the signatories on the bank, and make it like that was part of the meeting. And then get that right out, and then do the more, all of the things Jay said.
Why don't we ask the bank and see what they'll accept? Because they're weird.
Well, like I said, that's why they said that minutes, and they did not say approved minutes. They just said minutes.
Oh,
I mean, I can have the
They didn't
minutes
say
done by the
approved
end of the weekend.
Yeah, well, they didn't say.
I just won't be able to get them done by tomorrow.
Yeah,
Well, no, tomorrow
Monday,
we're covered tomorrow for the CD. That we're going to be covered for because Mary will go down.
Yeah, I'll go down.
Because Mary's already on the account. She's not being removed. She's going to take care of the CD. It's just, hopefully we can get all these checks out next week, which would be to the town, G&G, Stacy and Case. Well, and then Stacy and the rent, of course.
Could we have them issue bank checks to me tomorrow?
Pardon me?
Oh, they
Could
might
we
be able
have them
to.
issue bank checks to me tomorrow?
I don't know.
That's a good ask.
I don't know if they need 2 signatures for that.
The checklist is in the Google Drive. I'm gonna give it a try. I gotta go anyway.
Exactly. If they'll do it, super.
Why not?
Yeah, and it's just we don't pay the rent. The rent was already prepaid.
Oh, so we're not going to cut a check for that? Because I dropped a check off last time.
Always
Oh,
write a
okay.
check for
Yeah.
them. And because I hand carry them.
Yep, okay.
And I hand carried it last time.
Got
But
it.
yeah, if you can get bank checks, perfect.
And Casey, I'll let you and Kathy know.
Okay.
And Bill and Bill.
Okay.
So that you guys, if we have to do the scramble,
Okay,
but otherwise that gives everybody a breather.
okay, yeah,
If we can mail. them
okay,
checks.
that sounds good.
Excellent idea. Okay, then the next, the real easy one is Carol has graciously offered to complete our 1099s this year, and she'll do so with Casey and I, so we'll be prepared to do those next year. And now it comes down to the grant for the village for the purchase of the EV chargers. And I had a conversation with, first of all, I did talk to our accountants. Some of you saw that I sent out an email with a copy of what they said. So we're good. They would like something on the record talking about, at least, based on my phone conversation with them, about why granting this money to the village is consistent with the purpose of the LDC. So I don't know if Mary, you'd want to say a few words about why this is, consistent and, why it's
And what we're gonna put in there is it is consistent because this has been part of our strategic plan.
perfect.
It's a partnership between the LDC and the village because EV chargers have been part of our strategic plan.
Okay, so what I would like to have is a motion that we are authorized to issue the grant, which was essentially going to be a check, within 2 weeks of presentation of the invoice by the village to us.
I would like to make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Bill?
Second.
Okay, perfect. So when the invoice comes into the village, Mary said she will send it right over to me. And then it's just a question of, getting together and getting that check cut.
All right, anything else?
I believe that's it.
Let's see here, finance.
So the action item for the micro grant fund, I started to work on it yesterday, despite the fact that Nicola had promised to give us the rubric and failed to do so after 3 reminders and promises. She sent it to me this morning, so I have to go in and incorporate that tonight and tomorrow. So I'll send it back out to everybody.
You saw my comment?
I did. I sent you the wrong one.
Okay.
That's all.
I just want you to know, Dave, when you send me
I did.
things, I read them.
I know you did. No, so I have to owe that to everybody again now that I have the rubric.
Is the
That's all.
rubric how we're going to score the application?
So that was the thing, we had a couple other things we were gonna use as kind of a model, and then G&G chimed in, oh, I got this great rubric you can use. And then since I had to late to Dave, because we could have gone ahead and just used our rubric.
Yeah.
For it, so.
I haven't seen theirs yet. Like you said, she sent it at 9:15 this morning while I was at work and
I just have one question, thank you, that really is great. Do we want to define small business in any way? Or do we want to leave it open?
That's true. The IRS defines a small business of 500 employees or less, right? That's a pretty big business.
I didn't know if you wanted to give that any thought.
That's actually a very good
I
thought.
know, I had not thought about that at all.
Yeah, so.
Well, what did they say with this other one? It was 5 employees or less, right? That was the one that Jay was talking about. That seems almost too small.
Yeah, I
like
think it's
if-
too small. It takes out all your restaurants. and things
Yeah.
like that, right?
But defining it is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Do we
Because some
have
will go to
any-
the IRS one,
Right.
some might go to the other grant one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could define it, but do we have any businesses that aren't small and big businesses that we would entertain a?
No, but think about it. You could have a big, small business come in and apply for the grant, and then that,
Eats up everything.
yeah, and then that eats up
Well,
everything,
no.
and they got a whole
We do-
board department, accounting department, everybody other.
I thought
We do
these
have-
were people that
Kind of startup.
that are startups.
That was kind of our thought with it. If, like, if Aubrey wanted to put in for something, we could consider that.
Pam, did you have a point?
I was just gonna say for small, 1 to 2 people businesses, DenFit, her business, Bonnie's business, the marketing gal, Christy.
Yeah, stuff work, yeah.
I think if we looked at the chamber book, there's a bunch of, there could be more, but I don't know.
But how would we, yeah, but I guess,
I think
you
it's
know,
the max is
do
what-
we say that they have to run, does it say they have to run the business in the township of Cape Vincent?
We're waiting for the sheet from them, right, with more information?
No, he got that today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, it came this morning, so I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Yeah, all right.
I think that does it have to be in the village? I don't.
Well, I
think-
would say the
But it is right
township.
now, it's about benefiting us here.
Hmm.
So it's not defined that way. Do we want to say? I mean, I'm
Well, that's
fine
my,
to say
that was my question when he talked about defining, is I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
how would we feel if,
Micron,
well, more, but it could even be a
Yeah,
small
yeah,
business in
yeah.
Shimo.
right.
If it's impacting life and stuff here in the village, I wouldn't be opposed to
Right. If
giving
they're,
some
yeah.
to people in Shimo. You know, if somebody in Shimo wants to put up a kiosk that rents kayaks downtown.
Yeah,
No, but it's
Perfect.
here.
Oh.
but it's here.
But the business
impact
is
has to be
just-
here,
yeah.
yeah, just because the
Okay.
owner
So
lives
maybe
in-
that's, maybe that needs to be in there.
The
Well, the
impact-
business
But the
needs to be
economic
located.
benefit will flow to Shimo owner, so you just think
Yeah.
about that.
No, you're right. I hadn't really thought about that.
But I think that the business needs to be in the town now.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, because again, some big business could say, oh, yeah, we're gonna benefit the whole region, so I'm
I'd
gonna apply for this.
like to see the economic benefit be.
So-
resident.
But do we want to say that,
Or
then
resident.
just restrict it to residents,
Right.
either full-time or seasonal residents of Cape Vincent?
I think saying that the business itself has to be in Cape
Yeah, I think it
Vincent.
needs to be
I'm
in
okay if like somebody lives in 3 Mile Bay and they're driving here to run their business and the check gets mailed to
Okay.
3 Mile Bay. I don't know, what do others think?
John, I got a question, because you're bringing that up for a reason. What is the concern in the sense of, like a 3 Mile Bay person, but the thing, the business, the service is here? How much do you think is being bled off to 3 Mile Bay and the person vice staying here, vice versa? That makes
I
sense.
don't have a geographic bias,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
think.
Or Shimo, or whatever.
I mean,
like
there's
that.
3 Mile Bay
Yeah.
people.
No, but you're asking for a reason as opposed to having a Cape Vincent person operate a Cape Vincent business
Yeah,
all here.
when I heard about this, I got real excited. This is a great idea. Dave talked about it being something that gets turned around really quickly. And the economic benefit flows through, like if people are making profit, they're gonna have to pay tax on the profit. So it's hard to probably enforce it and administer that kind of stuff, but I would just like to see it benefit residents of Cape Vincent. And there's so many other things that we're doing that all these grants that I'm hearing, I don't know how you guys keep your heads above.
We're not.
What do y'all think? Do we want to just restrict it to people who live, eat and breathe in Cape Vincent? Or do we want to widen the aperture with the business here, but they can live outside of Cape Vincent? Anyone have any strong thoughts?
I live outside of Cape Vincent, so I'm biased, obviously, but my wife's business is in town, and I would say limited to businesses that are in town, but not necessarily residents, but again, I'm biased. But because if they're opening up in town, then automatically the town's going to get tax income and everything else. Yeah,
Well, these are small services. There's gonna be a lot of, money flowing through. There's not gonna be a lot of tax generated, but maybe it'll get somebody started. They'll start small and
Yeah, that's the hope.
be able to grow it. That's,
So
so I'm not married to.
Yeah, I was
As
just
long as
wondering,
the
'cause
business-
you brought it up for a reason. I was just kind of curious,
Yeah,
the thought.
I want this one for all.
Well,
the
and
folks.
also the size, right? Because we didn't,
Yeah,
we
didn't.
all thought 5 was too small. I mean, is it 50?
5 people?
Well, that was what the big grant that Jay was talking about, the micro grant thing.
Yeah.
It said
Five or
small
less.
business was 5 people or less.
yes, what's the
Oh.
max?
And we were in, I don't remember who said, but a restaurant would
Yeah,
probably have
restaurant.
just because of waitresses
In the
and.
summer, they could have to.
Are these for startups
Yeah.
or are these for existing businesses that
It
that
is
need
for-
$5,000 to do
It is
something?
for any organization that improves the economic status of Cape Vincent.
Okay,
Right.
So
That
it's
could
even
bring-
organizations, it doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
business.
so we should probably have a larger employee.
It's probably 50 is a good number.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody in town that has more than 50.
So how's this? He's got to go incorporate the rubric.
Right.
We know we've identified kind of making a definition of what small equates to or a range for small. I think we're at a consensus of basically business in Cape Vincent,
Yeah.
but you don't necessarily have to live in Cape Vincent. And then if Dave takes those, because he's got to update anyway, and then sends it out, we all can kind of take a look at it.
Yep.
'Cause go from there.
So 2 other points was the rubric, that will it require some sort of relative experience in running a business or some sort of, like, again, a startup comes in, oh, I just have this idea. There needs to be some kind of thinking about how successful we think they're going to be, and will there be an interview?
Was there a
Definitely.
business plan? part of
Yeah,
it?
there's a business plan that has to be
Okay.
submitted and.
Very good.
Yep.
Good, I'm glad there's a business plan.
Now, he hasn't he hasn't incorporated Nicola's rubric yet, but then we send out these exact questions, say, hey, it should have this, or it's missing this, or I'd like to see this, and that's exactly what we'll do. just to kind of look at it.
Yeah, I would suggest too, on the business plan, you have particular points to cover on the business plan. So it's just not a one page, you know. I used to work in small business development center, so there's business plans and there's business plans. I'm gonna open
We
up.
want to get wrapped around the X too much. We want to interview these folks. Yeah. See who we think.
Anything else in the, okay. Well, for me, so just to let y'all know, assuming that I was not gonna be co-opted from this wonderful position, thank you, Mary. I had a meeting with the new town supervisor, the deputy town supervisor, and the mayor on the 2nd of January. And so without going into a whole lot of detail, it was productive. They did mention, because there's so many different conferences, like, you know, what is useful to us? And so they mentioned benefit of the Tug Hill Conference because it really is focused on small villages. I have a flyer from that. I gotta take a look. Really, the value of that is not all connections, network, and all that happy stuff. It's really the workshops. So we really want to target grants. We go to the workshop and learn about, you know, grants and stuff like that, because that's really where we're lacking collectively. Is Jay and Nicola talk about all this stuff, and we're just kind of looking like, you know, pig looking on a wristwatch. And so the idea would be to kind of get semi-educated, and they recommended that as a pretty good thing. And so I'll send that out to everybody. And then I'll talk to you all a little bit later on some of the other things, but by and large, it was productive. Yeah, we'll see if things work out. So, all right, let's see here. Oh, Club Street.
Club Street. So I kind of talked about this throughout the meeting. From a town perspective, it's the park and it's the seawall. There's also these big transient docks. But the thing that's kind of in play right now is this, the seawall is getting paid for by a local waterfront, LWRP, local,
Yep.
Yeah, whatever that stands for. And so there's the money for that. And then part of New York Forward is this park area. So right now that work is in place. The person who was running the projects for the town has resigned. The engineering person has resigned. And so we are figuring out how we're going to move stuff around to get that covered.
Was that from Bernie and Carr, or was that?
No, that was a
completely
local
different?
contractor.
Oh, got it.
It was a local contractor. So that's in play right now. Welcome to the new job.
How impactful is that?
Personally, I don't think it's going to be
Good.
that impactful. I think we just have to figure out who's doing it. Like, how do you divide up the work? You know, so, you know, for example, we have Edgewater, who is the engineering firm. Can they administer the grant? It's those kind of questions, as opposed to they were designing, you know, and so we'll see how that goes. But that's just a little bit of a bump in the road for us right now. But I'll continue as I see design iterations to send them out to the board for their information.
Okay, well, we'll just continue to do any updates on town.
The only other thing I would say is one thing that the new supervisors put in place is that each of us that has a liaison role to a part, all the board members have different things that they cover, now have to write a written report that goes to the town, which I wholeheartedly support. And so I will be writing up a report on this meeting. So, you know, all those questions that said, you know, I need to talk about these on the agenda, they won't get lost in the shuffle. So I think that would be the big thing that impacts you guys.
Update on village activities, Pam.
Okay, I think we talked about everything. So the LWRP Joint Comprehensive and Pro Housing, I'll follow up with my board next week. We've already talked about EV chargers, the water infrastructure. The good news was the grant not to exceed 5 million. And that's from Department of Environmental Facilities Corp. The number that we ultimately get will be determined after potentially additional grants come in and the project gets completely defined. So just generally, our goal is to have the construction of the underground issues that the village has be fixed at the same time as our New York Forward streetscape to sort of save money if we can and make it as efficient as possible. So I can't think of anything else. I don't think we met after our last LDC meeting. So we meet again Tuesday and I'll have an update on more of the water infrastructure, but that's all going in a positive manner.
I think the only other thing that I would mention, Pam, to build on that is, so you've got the streetscape and you've got the pedestrian part of Club Street, which is all Village New York Forward. The nice thing is now the design firm for the stuff I just talked about.
Yeah.
They're talking to Delta Engineering.
Delta, yes.
And so like, we don't have any bridges or sidewalks going to nowhere.
Right.
So I think it's pretty exciting.
It does seem to be working well between that. So yes, good point.
Good collaboration.
Okay, anything else, Pam?
I don't think so.
Could I ask a quick question? So what's the holdup with the village in the, you know, the housing resolution?
Oh, the pro housing?
Yeah.
The pro housing, there was just concern that they would stipulate maybe what type of housing we could have. And I'm going to clarify because I might be crossing over a couple of different grants there and there might be confusion on my board between the smart growth comp plan and the housing, the different grants. So I'll go over all that with our board. It sounds like from Nicola tonight, there is no problem with the pro housing.
Yeah, no, there isn't any. Yeah, we did this in Clayton. There's no, it's just
right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that will move forward.
Yeah. Other than
And Pam, I just emailed you because Jay had sent it to me, the resolution that the town did.
Yeah, I did see that. Thank you.
So those bullets seem pretty benign.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Good. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I will and follow up.
Thank you.
Okay. Lori, Chamber.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. And I love the website. So I just want to say it really looks nice. So coming from the chamber, coming out of December, we had some very successful Christmas in the Cape events, 2 big shopping nights. It seems that the local businesses were very happy with the flow they had coming into town. And we worked closely with the Improvement League. That went really well. Our membership drive is up and going. I'm sure people have gotten packets in their emails. So that's basically what we have going on. We'll be full force with the membership drive for the next 2 months, I would say.
Kathy, we got to make sure that we go online and we pay that. The chamber membership, it's in the budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't get an invoice or anything like that?
No, I thought Carol used to do it online. You could check with her, but it seems to me it was an online thing she did.
Okay.
Somebody
Yeah,
should.
Yeah, do you know, Lori, is there an online version or is it a check?
Well, we, so far we did the online one out. So, and she can register online. We haven't done a mailing. We're going to do the mailing once we see what comes back from the online.
Yeah, I think we did it online last year.
Yeah, you probably did. We're offering that again this year. And it probably is even a little more streamlined this year. Julie's done a really great job of helping us put it together.
So, Lori, I'm a new member here on this board. I'm also an individual member of the chamber, and I get a lot of emails, which I think are wonderful, that are updating all of the events around and what the businesses are doing and when bingo is. Who gets those emails? Just members or?
All members.
Huh?
All members.
So the community at large, individuals, they don't get that?
Well, if they're not in our membership, if they're not part of our membership, no, they wouldn't get that. I mean, during the membership drive, we target other people. Also, we target people who are not members, who we are trying to bring them in.
Okay, but the monthly newsletter that's available to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right, because we collaborated with
stuff
Stacy
in
on.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I wish we had a wider reach for.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Facebook user, Stacy does
That's
something,
true.
which is Cape Vincent, New York, so it matches the new website. And she puts a bunch of stuff out, and then she has the boards maintained coming in and out of town.
I think I follow the chamber on Facebook too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff. Okay.
Lori, was there any feedback from the businesses as to the effectiveness of the Rochester advertising campaign for Christmas in the Cape?
No, we didn't see anybody from that area. I mean, I was there for all the events, so.
Yeah.
I think that's a good question, Dave, to see what the radio station comes back and tells us what their reach was, and, that kind of thing, because they should have Nielsen data, I think. I don't know, I didn't do radio,
We have a great reach to Rochester, but not in the winter, not around that time of the year.
Yeah, and one of the main reasons is we got all the summer stuff for free. So, hopefully.
Anything else for Lori? Or you have anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. And then the only thing, new business, do we have anything more on the New York Plays grant? Or we kind of talked about that?
I think we talked about it during the grant thing.
All right. Let's see, nobody privileged. We have no executive sessions.
Sorry. I said sorry. I didn't
Okay.
delete that.
So
Wait, I got a quick tip. So, okay, currently, what's the slogan of Cape Vincent? It's where the
Where the lake and- where the-
where
No, where the
lake.
lake and river meet.
Okay, how about where a great lake meets a great river? Because that really adds a lot more oomph. So I know it's not our job, but I'm just saying that since the chamber's here, and where a great lake meets a great river, it's just so much better. It has a lot more punch. It has a lot more, something to think of. Okay, that's it. And it can be on the bags.
I just had a question. Our website, the LDC website, we obviously have to update the officers.
Mhm.
Can we include pictures, photos, and a brief biography?
So we have the bio, right?
Well, not everybody gave them to me.
That would be why. So I'll do reverse engineering. So there is a new requirement to go ahead and add a small little blurb. It could be 2 sentences, it could be War and Peace, but it is a requirement for that. And so we asked that the members provide it. And so not all of them done it. So those have to be, no, because you two weren't here. And so basically, there will be blurbs for that. It is a requirement. Now, the pictures are not a requirement. We have not asked board members for that. I don't know if people would be wanting to do that or not, but as far as I know, we've never asked about the pictures.
I think it's important.
So,
Bug shots next week.
yeah. So, well, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna look a lot younger and a lot better. If that's the picture you're gonna get.
When I
So-
had my little campaign thing and I went door to door, one guy said, "This is an old picture."
Ah.
And I looked at, and his wife smacked him. And I looked at him and I said, "Actually, this is how I looked before I visited 700 houses."
Casey, can you send out the request for that again? 'Cause
Yes, I will.
missed it, sorry.
All right, so
Is there executive?
So we have to talk
No,
about the
there's-
pictures more.
there's no executive session, but before we adjourn, so right now, I think generally the grants being pointed to LDC site and residing there, that's real easy. And then we've already talked about the bags. Kathy's got a good point. We can do the officers in December, be ready for prime time come January. That's easy. And we'll just put that down in the thing. When you all go to the bank, I know they said minutes, but just ask about a resolution or a memo signed by chair, secretary, just give us flexibility. What's the worst they can do? Tell us no.
Well, I think the need for that is going to depend on whether we get the bank checks or not. If Mary gets the bank checks, there's really no issue.
Right, 'cause
We can
you'll
wait
have
on the
to
minutes.
Mary, if they say no to the bank checks, ask if we can do something.
Exactly.
Okay, you know,
Right.
it takes a while for our minutes. Can
Yeah.
I do a
Yep.
resolution? Can I?
Exactly.
Or can I just get, yeah, if you can't get the bank checks, absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll be postured for next year.
Yeah.
For the micro grant, defining the small businesses as well as incorporate the rubric and then define if it's not already in there that the business has to be in Cape Vincent and then send it back out. We'll look at it.
Yep.
And then Kathy will look to pay the chamber membership and then we'll discuss the pictures in the website for later. That's what I'm tracking. So, all right, did I miss anything? All right.
I'm gonna send out the business survey so we can approve that at next month's meeting, so we can send it out.
Okay.
Got it. All right, so I need a motion
I'll make
to
that.
get out of here. All right, so, Mike went ahead and did that. Who's second?
Second.
Okay, all approving ayes, whatever.
Aye.
Good, let's get out of here. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Time limit today.
So.
Oh my God.